small colonies here. But what do I think about the cats on Earth? A lot of them are star seeds. Um, the Irma will go into immersion and incarnate as literally cats, big cats and house cats. My cat here is even in an immersion pod.
Wow. Well, what can you tell us about the galactic history and how races came to Earth?
Okay, so about 1 million years ago, uh, the felines and the space humans were living in peace in the on the planet Lyra, in the right around Vega star system, and then the reptilians invaded. And there's a lot of different theories about how the reptilians invaded, if they came from a different timeline or whatever. But they started a war, and all of the races that were living in peace didn't know war, so we didn't know know how to protect ourselves.
Now, ain't that something? He said all the races that was living in peace didn't know war. Can you imagine that? I believe that probably was, I don't know, man. I be wondering, because when I came down this joint as a baby, I was all loving, man. You know what I'm saying? Just all love, 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 love. And I realized I was in the hey, 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 hey world. I'm like, damn. So you gotta adapt to that world. If you don't, you're gonna get devoured. The adversary, be sober, be vigilant, for your adversary is like a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour.
So the reptilians came in with all of this technology and just blew the hell out of everything.
So, like I said again, it shows you right here, this is how the beast created the technology. It's not like the white man got the technology. White man don't have the science. You know what I'm saying? Remember, white man came from the Neanderthal gene, which came up from out of the Caucasus Mountains. So they got the science from the reptilians. These ancient beings got the science of this high tech that we have today that's putting people under mind control and all this shit.
And everybody got on their spaceships and just went and hid on all the different planets throughout this quadrant of the galaxy.
So everybody running,
and the reptiles chased them all over this quadrant of the galaxy. And
so the reptilian ass gang stalkers is chasing the peacemakers all throughout the galaxy, man. You know what I'm saying? Came to kill, steal, and to destroy. The beasts always come to kill, steal, and to destroy. There's been war going on, player. Alright? Way before the Bible.
To near extinction. And then we, got together and developed the Galactic Federation and organized and, developed weapons and technology and stuff to defend ourselves, and then went to war with the reptilians and eventually landed on this planet. Humans came to this planet about 40 to 50,000 years ago.
What?
And there were, this is Atlantis times, pre-Atlantis times, and there were many different star races here on Earth, especially after the Tiamat destruction.
But see, your preacher man is not allowed to go that far. They gotta go as far as just Adam and Eve. You know what I'm saying? And y'all thinking that creation started there, but y'all been punked.
The asteroid belt right now used to be a planet, and that planet was called Tiamat. It was a big watery planet. And the solar system 12,500 years ago was changed around. It's not the way that it was, that it is right now. And so the reptilians put some sort of a decoy on Tiamat in order to draw the Federation to it. And when the Federation went to Tiamat to investigate, a huge war broke out, and they literally destroyed the planet of Tiamat. And there are a lot of civilizations, especially, under the sea civilizations, on Tiamat, and the reptilians specifically wanted to destroy this planet to get to the black goo.
Before you go on, what is the black goo?
Cracks in the fissures of the crust and creates oil, but then it crystallizes and then it creates the black goo. There's some sort of a chemical transition that happens to become like a hydrocarbon. So the black goo is very positive. It's the lifeblood of a planet, but it can become negative when a planet is destroyed. And that's why the reptilians specifically wanted to destroy Tiamat, was to infuse the black goo with all of the trauma, because the black goo has semi-etheric states. It exists and has in the astral as well. So it's connected to all of the souls on the planet. So if all of the souls on the planet go through some horrible, catastrophe, the black goo is infused, it becomes negative. Well, when the planet was destroyed, the water from Tiamat, and this is how the Great Flood happened, the water broke through and landed on Venus and on Earth, and the water and the black goo landed on Earth and made deposits there. And the governments have been mining this black goo and extracting it for certain secret space programs and stuff like that. But that's how the black goo becomes negative, and it's used for a variety of nefarious dealings.
Are the reptilians still around?
Oh, yeah. They're not only around, but they're in every corner and every compartmentalized corner. They have their fingers into everything.
Are the reptilians also called the Draco?
They are called the Draco, and now the Alpha Draco are the most dominant reptilian species. They're the dragons, like literal dragons, space dragons. And we're talking about very real, physical beings here. We're not just talking about, etheric beings or light beings or whatever.
Mythological.
So, there are good Alpha Dracos and there are negative Alpha Dracos. The good ones are keeping the bad ones in check, but then there's a bunch of subspecies as well. So, yeah, they're still around.
The reason I asked is because some of my guests will say there are good reptilians and some are bad. So you would agree with that then?
Absolutely, 100%.
What is the best way for a person to learn how to astral travel?
The best way for a person to learn to astral travel would be a lot of research, a lot of meditation. It actually has to do with changing your perceptual agreements. You really need to face your fears on every level. And that's what, lucid dreaming and astral travel is really all about. It's about facing your fears head on. When you astral travel, there is a certain point when you have to become aware that you're falling asleep. And there's a certain point where you hear lots of loud vibrations and you feel your body paralyzed. You feel like you're dying. That is the first step to become comfortable with. You have to become comfortable with the fear of falling and the fear of dying before you can enter the astral realms. It's kind of like an initiation. So the best way to do it, is to practice. It took me a year before I was very good at it. But really practicing and researching all of the different techniques and stuff like that is the best way to learn about it.
And that's the best way to overcome the fear?
That's a personal journey. That's a personal test, overcoming the fear. And honestly, there's nothing to be afraid of except for yourself and your own ideas. because that's all there is. There's just your consciousness, your frequency, and your ideas. All your reality is made up from your perceptions. So if you don't really want to face your traumas, you don't really want to face your fears, then astral travel is and lucid dreaming is not for you.
During your astral traveling, have you been to the halls of Amenti or the Akashic records?
The halls of Amenti and the Akashic records, no, not specifically. I don't exactly subscribe to the idea of either of those things, although people have reported that they've been there, and I believe that they're real for them. I just kind of tap into the ether and get an inner knowing or knowledge that way. Some people call that the Akashic records, but I've never been to a specific place where it has a whole bunch of records. In fact, I think that people are being manipulated by it, because it's like when you die and you go to heaven or you go towards the light and you have that whole life review, they're using that, the archons are using that to trap and recycle souls on Earth. There's a barrier called the Van Allen bands around Earth, and that even exists in the astral. You have to have a high enough frequency to break through that in order to be free after death.
Since your real self, if that's the way you could just...
And the light, and you have that whole life review.
Hold on, y'all. We're gonna play one more time before I run out. Hold on. I'm running out of seconds. Hold on, play it again.
Go to heaven, or you go. I think that people are being manipulated by it, because it's like when you die and you go to heaven or you go towards the light and you have that whole life review, they're using that, the archons are using that to trap and recycle souls on Earth. There's a barrier called the Van Allen bands around Earth, and that even exists in the astral.
We do not ask for the lives we are given, but each of us has the right to defend that life. I have fought to defend mine, and when the forces of darkness return, you shall know that I am out there, fighting to defend yours. I, descender of the demon horde. I, my father's son.